Hello.
Hey guys.
Hello.
Hey. Hello. Hello. Hey Manoj. Hey Siddharth. Hey Umang.
Uh,
Hey Faraz. Hey Justin. Hey Manoj. How do you spell your name? Vevjin.
Yevgen.
Yevgen. Nice meeting you.
Yes. Nice to meet you.
Awesome. We'll give folks a few more minutes. Today, I am very excited. We are doing a live lesson. My lessons have been pre-recorded. So this one is going to happen right when you are. And we are going to make this into a workshop. There's no point in just learning things and not trying them out. So it'd be funny to see what comes up. I highly recommend signing up for ChatGPT's $20 version. If you use Gemini or Claude and all, I am not going to test on them. If it works, if it doesn't work on Claude and Gemini, I can say it works on my LLM. So, see, so yeah. So use the ChatGPT one, pay $20. You can always change that. But from today, as you start using it, you'll find those $20 to be worthwhile. I guarantee that. What you we won't do today is we won't learn about how to write long form essays. That's a business by itself. We learn that at some point, but not today. Today we learn about how to write LinkedIn posts that build authority. These posts will not help you sell any businesses like I do. Because if you do them, then you don't attract recruiters or candidates. But you learn the basic gist of it as to how to develop a voice. Okay. So I think I did some very good marketing today. A lot of people are joining that I haven't seen before. This is amazing. See, LinkedIn marketing works. Right. Awesome. The convoy, Agni Deep, how are you, man? Long time. Hey, Jimmy. Hey,
Hi
Nilesh.
buddy.
Awesome. So let's just give 2 more minutes to folks to join. I'm going to check something with my presentation, it's ready or not, and then I'll just mute myself and my video as well for 2 minutes, and I'll be back. All right, let's start. First, I want everyone who has not muted to mute. I'm going to check if there's an option over here because typically we don't mute in our calls. So, okay, I guess it's going to take a while to find out. And I won't be doing that. I'll just tell you guys to mute. Okay. So get your Chat GPT brand new instances open. We're going to get into it. First, we're going to start presenting. And this is your typical Canva sharing in a presentation mode because then I have to switch between presentation mode and Chat GPT. It's just going to eat our time. Um, okay, I think we can keep it like this. Okay. Awesome. So building reputation to attract opportunities. This is a key thing. What you need to do is, when you're applying for jobs, think about when you're about to get married. Imagine a friend comes to you and says, "Hey, I just met this girl and we fell in love, and I know her for like 10 hours now. Like we have been on 10 dates, and we're getting married. 10 hours to spend your entire life with somebody. In fact, think about it, you're going to spend 8 hours, at least 8 hours, right? 8 hours you're sleeping, 8 hours you're working, 8 hours with this person every day. Same thing goes at work as well. Sure, you have family at home, you also have coworkers, right? If you're a leader, you have built a team. You're a company, you're hiring people. And so you list down your values, your interview, but we're always skeptical. This is why, we also fire people within 1 year and second year and third year and things like it. So what does work is if I can see you day by day over day or week over week, and you're sharing your opinions. What kind of opinions? They matter. We'll talk about that. But how you share your opinions, can I read them? Is it easy to read? So we're going to talk about those pieces today. Essentially, we are going to build a writing system for you that you can generate your posts in half an hour every day. Now, some of my clients generate now these posts for the entire week in half an hour. The ideas has to be yours though. We'll talk about those ideas. I'll give you some examples as well. Here's one example. This is one of my clients in New York, senior software engineer, um, doesn't have a CS degree, boot camp. Interviews are lined up. Look at this. I asked her, "Are you applying every day?" And I saw also the post impressions also rocking. And she's saying, "No, I don't need to yet. I'm trying to keep my interviews capped at 3 companies at a time so I can study, and it's more manageable for me." Like her inbox is loaded. I have other examples. With people's name as well. There's another person, Michael, that has shared his name. I can share his testimony as well, but I think I'm doing too much marketing already, and I think your guys are already sold. But I want you to showcase that what happens. So this is Prasanna. Prasanna is not applying for jobs. She is another client that I have. She's a mid-level engineer who works in C++, TypeScript, backend enthusiast. She's wants to grow into a senior role. So she is taking coaching with me. And as she's learning, she's also posting online about her opinions. She learned the same writing system which you're about to learn. This is her fourth post. I want you to take a look at this post. This is such a nice post that she wrote. I write mostly backend code. She's announcing who I am, which means I don't touch buttons, right? So yeah, we get it. So it's if you're a backend engineer, if you're hiring somebody, you're resonating with that. And then she talks about, if you look at it, it's a very interesting piece. She's saying I don't touch buttons, but I still have backend UX. It's a point designing APIs, right? Developer friendly experience. Now, what happens as a manager or a hiring manager? You're looking at somebody saying, I'm a backend engineer, but I still take care of API design. So it's user friendly, isn't it? So you're writing about that. I don't even ask a question. Now, I share more things that she shares, but this is developing your personality online. People are getting to know you. I don't have to call you in the interview. I learned this, how this impact on your reputation about in 2023 in February. I was not doing well in my coaching business. I was training people, but it was very hard for me to sell and marketing, my own uh, energy blocks against sales and marketing. I had to learn them. I had to overcome them. I realized that I wasn't helping my customers more by not learning how to sell. I was at Riot Games, and the interviewer, let's just talk about this in a way. This is a different. So the interviewer um, was an engineer who was asking me questions, but halfway I realized he was sort of mesmerized by me. Like it was odd. You can see somebody's face. He was sitting like this, like, and his questions were more about asking for advice. And like 3 or 4 questions, and they just seemed like he's asking for advice. The recruiter afterwards gave me a call and said the hiring manager wants to speak to you before we go to your different loop. He just wants to make sure you understand the job is all about. The hiring manager came. He was very calm. The next day, he was very calm, and but it seems like he was also a bit fidgeting. And he said, "This role is a line manager role. It reports you'll have 6 engineers, and it reports into me." It was doubtful. And I was like, yeah, I work with younger people. I love working with them and this learn things we can learn from each other. The guy just broke. He said, "Wow, I'm going to learn so much from you." I'm so like, he just changed. I was like, what the hell is going on? This is a hiring manager, right? The expression was very different. The power dynamics were very different. I wasn't there to prove myself. People were there to feel like, can we get this guy? This continued. Then I had a back end and front end engineer. They were talking. I get their advice in between, like a coach. Oh, you're feeling this, you're feeling that. They were like, ooh, like this guy's like can see stuff. I was like, this is different. This is not interview. This is something else going on. I decided after that that I need to stop interviewing and believe in myself and learn how to actually people are looking for my coaching. They're looking for my help, but I'm not learning how to sell myself. If I can't sell myself, I can't help them. So that mindset got me more into, okay, I need to figure out I'm writing well. What do I do to sell? What's my now, TPCs to overcome? There's a reason why we have people over here and learning about how to write online. Right? Now let's get into how this works. So first part we're going to begin is in any programming language or things you learn is a building block. So we're going to talk about 3 things today. One is engineering writing words. There are different ways to say things, but there's a way that you would like your voice to be. Okay. It can start by copying somebody and then slowly changing that. I'm going to show you how to do that part. This is Stephen King's way. He calls this copy work. When Stephen King was in 1956, 55, 56, he was sick, a child at home. He had a lot of comic books and he would read them. And one day he basically had time. So he drew one of them and he mostly copied from the comic book, the dialogues and everything. He gave it to his mom. His mom was surprised, but then told him to do it his own work. Then he started doing the same thing. He would copy somebody's work and then he would build a voice in that writer's voice. Then he would go watch a movie, another movie, then he would bring the ideas together. Like he has several stories like this, which shares that he basically takes two different stories and he would start mixing them together. And as he starts doing it, he developed his own ideas, his own voice. He started looking at things in the world. Oh, this is happening. This is happening here. Oh, we don't write about this. So he started writing about those things. Like he would be in a house where the house would make this tip, tip, tip noise. And then he would start writing about a man in a house, a haunted house like that, his own experiences. We are not going to write horror over here, but we are going to develop that voice first. This is the workshop we'll do today, line number 1. Line number 2 is I'm going to tell you what things to write about and what things not to write about. I'm going to give you examples. These are very sharp examples, but again, they are not like, they're limited that I'm going to show you today. So you'll have to use some common sense based on that to think about what can you do. And it will also be hit and try as you go on LinkedIn. Number 3, I'm going to show you once you write a post, how do you get it more visibility? Right. So, for example, if a person like me comes who has 85,000 followers and my niche is engineering managers, engineers, right? Those are your interviewers, right? Also, you're hiring people. So if I come and I engage on your post, for example, then my network gets to see that. This is the network effect. Right? So networking will also help over here. Let's go to the next one. First one, engineering your voice. Here's a building block. If you haven't heard of this person, James Clear wrote a book called Atomic Habits and became famous. The book is really good. It has some very good sentences. I like following this guy. So this is one of the things he posted yesterday. So I just picked it up and I pasted it over here. So let's see what we can do with this one. If you want a recipe for unhappiness, spend your time accumulating a lot of money and let your health and relationships deteriorate. Fine. Okay. Let's see what we can do with this one. So what if we can extract a template from this? And if you want a recipe for bad outcome, optimize one seductive metric and neglect the 2 non-negotiables. Here's some examples. Look at this. If you want, so because I write for engineering leaders, it can also give you examples what you can do with the leaders part. If you want a recipe for burnout, optimize for output and neglect sleep and friendships. However, I'm just going to warn you. Some sentences, some lines, they're so good, like by James Clear. If you copy them like this, with just fill in the blanks like that, you'll be caught. It's almost like cheating because it's the prose that you're copying. And so, first of all, let's extract this template. How do you do that part? I want you to open your ChatGPT instance and I want you to type in, let me just give you this in the chat. I actually have a Google Doc that I prepared and we can use this one. So in the chat, interesting part, chat is on the top. So here is the chat. You just sent a Google Doc, Google folder. In the Google folder, there are 2 files. Right now, I want you to open up you can open up both files, but we're going to open up the prompts file. And this is the first prompt you have over there. Prompt number 1. I want you to copy paste that prompt and put into your ChatGPT, right? And just so we are also looking at the same thing, I want to open up ChatGPT now. So in ChatGPT, I am going to write this line that I have. So it will give you what's happening. It's going to give you, because you're doing analysis and you want to do that part, because if you don't do analysis, just extract templates, it doesn't work that way. So when you say these things, and if you want to read this, by the way, because I was learning how to be a writer, I'm still on my journey towards that. So I read all of this, by the way, most of it. And so now it will give you some templates to look at over here. So if you want a recipe for negative outcome, now see, it's a different one, socially rewarded behavior, and let important human thing deteriorate. Right? So you can give different ones. You can also have so it's going to give you multiple choices like this one. Okay. Here's how we're going to go about this, though, by the way. So now for me, the answer that it gave me was this one. So it gave me this answer over here. And what I did was, I asked it to give me the same thing which it wrote about optimize output, neglect sleep, and friendships. It gave me this one, right? I say, hey, write it in Stephen King's voice. Now it knows Stephen King's. It knows how Stephen King writes from, LLM has been trained on that already. It's a lot of stuff. I don't have time to read this for something so small. So here's what you can do. You can then say, hey, lots of fluff, get to the point. So you have to also sharpen it. Once it generates something, you can say, make it short, make it more punchy, make it more attractive. And what's happening is that as you're giving instructions, you're building your own taste. Don't think about how others would want to taste this. I don't write because somebody else would write this like this taste. This is my own taste. I only write for myself. If I don't like it, I don't post it. So a lot of things over here are about generating ideas, training your ChatGPT instance. And for example, once I have this, I would give this back to ChatGPT and say, hey, I like this version. So it's learning about my taste as well. So as you start asking for more and more to produce, it becomes better and better. So once you pick some final piece, say, I like this piece. Now, I'm going to give you more over here. You can keep on doing this. You can say, okay, now write the same version, which it just gave me, in James Clear's voice. James Clear is quite famous as well, like I told you, Atomic Habits, and he talks about habits. Look at this. It changed this to do it daily, and the results are predictable. So it's using how James Clear thinks and mixes that into it. Okay. I want you to write this in your ChatGPT and see if you have what results are you getting with just that prompt. Now, once you understand this basic prompt structure, this is a building block. You're basically taking analysis, micro, macro, micro, and ChatGPT is able to pick up these templates and make these things, learn them. Now, let's build a brand new voice, a voice that you can do every day. Like you can just open up your LLM and say, hey, I want you to write a new post on a topic called ownership, where the backend team is doing this and the front-end team is doing this, something like that, right? So here's how you're going to build this piece. This is a guy called Richard Moore. I follow him because he teaches me sales. I've been following for a while now. The guy has 113K followers as of yesterday. And the reason I picked him up for this example, imagine if I picked up somebody who's already in engineering in your area. What's going to happen is that you're going to start writing and sounding like him, and everybody can tell because that's the same crowd. You want to pick somebody from a very different niche, where your niche is actually not even looking. Hiring managers are not following Richard Moore. I'm telling you this. Salespeople. So we are going to learn what his voice is. That's number one piece. You're not going to sell. We're going to learn build his voice first. Here's how you're going to do it. I have given you a swipe file. It's in the same Google folder. It's called Richard Moore. I want you to open it. But don't copy paste anything from there yet. There's a second prompt that you have. The prompt goes like this in your Google file. As an expert ghostwriter on LinkedIn who can mimic authors based on sample posts, I want you to analyze these posts from macro. So you're basically giving the same thing. We're saying, I'm going to give you a bunch of posts, and I want you to build a voice now for me. Right? So I want you to paste that into your LLM. And once it tells you, it's very important to say, tell me what you understood. It is very important. When you do that part, and also giving a role over here, it now acts in that fashion. I want to tell you the way writing or LLM in this case works is, imagine you have a watermelon, right? And that's the data for LLM. But how you consume it, how it consumes that, you have to give it some structure. I want you to chop it like this. I want you to make big pieces. So then we can work with that. So this is what you're doing. When you say act like an expert ghostwriter, it's not going to use an intention is about ghostwriting versus just analysis. Okay. Then you're saying, I want you to do author's voice based on sample posts I'm giving you. Then you give it some instructions specifically, because it can also do it by itself. You can also say NLP, other thesis. But I found out this macro, micro structure works brilliant. Then we also inform it our intention. We are going to write some original post with this, right? Which means we don't want it to copy. Then we say, hey, tell me what you understood. So it will tell you what I understood. Now, I want you to take all the posts from Richard Moore file and paste it after it's finishing. Let me know. Any thumbs up would be fine so I can see it's happening. In the meantime, I will also share that part. So let's do this piece here. Okay, awesome. And then what we are going to do is I have this file over here. Okay. Okay. Here are the posts. It is going to go through them. Don't try to tell it to do it fast or do it in the background. I've done all of those things. It doesn't work that well. So let it let it say these things. In the version that I use, I like to also read. So I give it instructions to talk to me like Stephen King from the book called On Writing Specific Voice in by a fireside chat. So it's also funny when it's talking to me and scary. Okay, so now we have some. Okay, let's write this next magical line. Okay, this line would be very simple. Okay, where is my, okay. This line would be amazing. I want you to, okay, copy from Richard, write an original post and only say one, write an original post. What you're going to do is you're going to calibrate from there. Right, so we're going to also write this over there. Write an original post. Now, if you notice, this is one of his structures. They don't like this. Most people think they lose deals at the close. So it's sales, all sales going on. It's also too long. Look at this. It's like way too long. Now, Richard can write like this. I can also write like this long form because I have a following. People know that when they start reading my stuff, usually I deliver the value. You are new. You don't want to write so long. So what we're going to do is that we're going to say, make it shorter. Okay, it's shorter, but still too long. I would say for the starting, as you're starting out, it should probably be come around over here. So I'll say, make it half the size. Let's see. Experiment with that. You have a voice, now you're shaping the voice right now. Okay, this seems okay. I mean, if it fits into a screen, a small one, right? Most deals aren't lost at the close, they're lost when you stop leading. The moment you soften your language. Okay, so this looks like some, sales stuff going on. Okay. Let's change the persona now. So we got the voice now. Okay. The prompt number 3 that you have over there, is it prompt 3 or prompt 4 maybe? There's a prompt number 3, and this is about changing the persona. So I want you to now change the persona to the engineering manager. So right now I have over here, excellent. Now act like an engineering manager with experience in big data, cloud, observability. You are all about extreme ownership, teamwork, collaboration, raising the bar, and following Amazon principles. You don't mention Amazon or its principles directly, but your opinions reflect them without exposing them directly. It's important. If you keep on saying, when people say, hey, but Amazon principles are a very good way to demonstrate behavior online and also learn from them. You're not hands-on, but you're an expert at connecting designs with business impact. You understand the language of product, executive, and strategy. When you write, it is always about one point, not several. Tell me what you understood. Again. So while we have the voice developed over here, I'm just going to change the persona, but not the voice. All right, let it just write stuff. I want you guys to do this in the background in your ChatGPT instances as well.
Hey, Taha, can I ask a question?
Go ahead, Umar.
This voice, I'm kind of trying to voice. What does voice actually mean? I'm trying to clarify that in my head and
Yeah.
struggling a bit. It's the way I think, way I write. How would I? Is there a way to define it?
Can you read Ethan Evans' post without Ethan Evans' name and say it's Ethan Evans?
If I know his writing style, I guess I would know the way he writes.
So if you follow someone, what
But
happens
not
that
with, but not with. If I don't know Ethan Evans, I would not know it is. Yeah.
yeah. So if we have been, so what happens that a writing voice is the same way of saying things, but in the way an author likes to say things. Okay, so there's a way of talking about it. For example, in some of my posts, my voice is more of a coach. So I change my voice. My voice in sometimes a coach voice, like when I write about DSA and stuff. And in that coach voice, also I have two voices over there. One is more empathetic, and one is more the one where I slap people. Right, bullshit. This is you're doing this is bullshit, right? So some people need that, and as a coach, I learned I gotta do it. I also learned this from my, and you will learn this as you speak to people. I mean, this is how I developed it. I had one client that was not making progress and was stuck. And one day I just lost it. I was like, damn, I should not have done that part, right? But when I lost it, he he looked up like this, and I realized, oh, something happened or something shifted. So I said, hey, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I got frustrated. You know what he said? No, Taha, do that. I said, why? This works on me. Well, I had two things. One is I felt really bad that this person has been conditioned to like move because this happens. And it told me more about I need to learn more about how do I help people like get out of that part. So some cases when people are not doing it, you gotta do it because they don't have a job and they are still struggling. So you have to snap out of it. Like you can't always use one mechanism. So my writing voices have an intent. Your writing voice should have an intent about people should be able to follow your thought process. And if you can follow your own thought process and like that part, that's it. Right. So, like, I generally don't like Ethan Evans' writing style. This is why I don't write it. It's not my style. But I can tell this is his style, for example. Right. I have other authors like Richard Moore. I like his style, but it's not so great as well. I mean, it's okay for me. He's a bit soft on some edges. Okay, let's go towards write an original post. You see, it follows the same structure. It's not. Okay, we're gonna do something about it. I'm gonna show you. Now look at this. Most teams think observability is about visibility. It's not. It's about ownership. See, this is what we're talking. Now it's a bit long, but it's still there. I'm gonna say, use a shorter structure. Look at this. Things change. Observability isn't about seeing more, it's about knowing who acts. It's also a different. So you're talking about observability, but right now, again, these posts may look like, okay, so I can form a voice, but the opinions might not be that sharp. They are basically following Richard's more style, and he's thinking observability and how would Richard think about them. This is where your experience comes in. So you can also, for example, I can say, write about managers growing people because they don't know how to challenge them without offending them. How true is that? If you're a manager, you know this. Okay, see that part. Managers don't fear growing people, they avoid it. Amazing insight. Look at this. Right now, I typically give two more instructions to it. If you want to write this down, is avoid using. Richard uses that, by the way, a lot. It's not X, it's Y. I don't like this part. It's not X, it's Y. This is very cheap writing. Or any, I used to do that too, by the way. It's cousins. Okay, read out the post. Okay, one more thing happening. We don't want EM dashes. There's nothing wrong with EM dashes. I'm telling you this part. Writers have been using it. It's a breath. But what happened is that now people think it like shit. Like, oh, so you don't want to use that part. So we're gonna say avoid using EM dashes. Brilliant. Right, so we are done over here. Let's do another one. Okay. Uh, okay, thank you, Faraz. Let's do this one. So we have, okay, so now I'm going to stop sharing this piece and I'm going to share you again. We're going to go back to this piece. Here is my, yeah. Okay. So this is what it got me when I did my own version last night. It talks about confidence. You can also use this. This is Richard's writing, one can tell. And then we changed the persona. We gave it the EM stuff. And then it gave me two different posts, which is, the structure is going on over here, another structure. I'm going to tell you a very important thing piece over here. You don't want to give, when you give these posts, like for Richard Moore or somebody, you can pick whoever you like. First of all, the quality of posts you pick makes a big difference. The diversity of posts you pick. I have my own swipe files that I built over time. I have multiple writers that I followed, writing and stuff. I have all of that. So what I'm trying to explain to you, very important piece. Do not mix two different people's posts together and say, learn from that. It's going to be, I mean, you can try, it's going to be a Frankenstein though. What you can do is you can train on one and say, okay, now I want you to also learn this new post and see what you can learn from this to mix into the existing voice. But don't mix together at the same time. Do process by process. It's like you build your own data pipeline. Right? One, let's say by James Clear, the other by Rich. The ones James Clear is trained, and it's okay, I want James Clear to also learn from Richard Moore what he's doing and what we are not doing. So now you're mixing voices like that. I'm also getting some chat messages, so let me just take a quick look. Yes, Gollum effect was very good. I actually tell you where I got the Gollum effect part. I'm going to show you exactly how I got it. The idea is very simple. Just to show you how you think about these ideas. Because as you write online, you want ideas. And you want to know about, hey, how do I frame these things to people? I did not know about Golem effect. It's from Jewish folklore. I'm not Jewish. Maybe they teach that into it. I am also subscribed to something called psychology of marketing. Let me just go over here. And psychology of marketing is where? Here, probably. Yes. That's right. Okay. So again, Stephen King idea. So I have my experience in leading teams. So when I was reading the psychology of marketing, I was like, that's exactly what I had when I had an engineer in my first year at Yahoo. And it gave me a language to talk about. At that moment, when I was dealing with that, and even through all my lessons, until like 2 months ago, I did not know about Golem effect. I did not know how to frame this. But finally, it gave me a language to explain because people like metaphors, they like understanding. So you can use that too as well. We'll go into it next time when we do long form posts, but this is psychology of marketing, says Golem effect. If you look at it, it talks about it's an image from I think it's Ontario Museum about the golem. It talks about what happens, and it talks about 3 ways to leverage that. I use the same one that I had about, engineer a powerful first win. They talk about something else for the clients. Like basically, you give them something. Right now, for example, what's happening with us is I'm engineering your first powerful win. How's that? Now imagine if I sell a course after this. I should have done that. Okay. All right, let's go back to this other one. Okay, so we are going to go back here. And I was looking at some chat messages. One second. Let me just finish chat messages because how many posts do you find you give? Oh, you know what? I would say at least 30. But diversity within, so same voice, but diversity is important. You may also end up copying this because they all have CTAs and this and that. Don't copy that. You don't need CTAs. If you use CTAs, that's one of the things you should not be doing. Don't use CTAs. You can ask about what do you think about this? This is different versus follow me for this and that. Don't do that stuff. Because LinkedIn recruiters and hiring managers are looking for people who they want to hire. Now, we do want you to express your thoughts and stuff, but behind anything, we don't want you to do any other work or moonlight. So if you start doing CTAs and this and that, that's not a thing. Also, don't follow people who talk about or write like them, hey, DSA patterns, here's what I learned from this interview. Stop doing that part. Do not expose your interviews online. Do not never expose your interviews online. I can do that part. Don't. So I'm a different person. I'm a coach. And if somebody reaches out to me for jobs, that's when I know that I'm not writing hard enough because I should be unemployable. It's like a tough love versus supportive perspective reminds me, okay, yeah, that's true. Don't mind, I'm going to post after this call picking it. This is exactly why am I doing this. I'm going to also show you how to post by the schedule. So don't just post like that. Okay, I'm going to show you how to build that piece. Hey Omar, glad to see you. Is this mean you have different tabs or different? No, not tabs. So you can do different LLMs. You can open a new model and Richard Moore over there. Then you can and then you can open a new LLM, like a new model, new chat, right? New chat model, and you can have a different voice over there. You can take voice from one and also say, hey, this post was written over here by somebody else. This is what I typically do. I would take, let's just say, I would read. We have used Ethernems a lot. Let's use somebody else. I would take anyone's post that I see that seems good, for example, and I would give it to ChatGPT, my LLM, and say, how would I write this piece if I like that piece, for example? But then I would tweak that. So number one part, it's going to give you a lot of good suggestions. They're all going to look good. Your job is to pick the one that tastes really good. And guess, even if it gives you 10, you should be able to reject all 10. Because you can always say, give me more. It will give you more. You can always tweak it. You can always say, I want you to use simpler language, like play along with it. I'm not giving you too many prompts over here because if I give you too many, you won't experiment. But if you stay in the lane as to what I've given you, this is just ABCD. Right?
Can I have a follow-up question on that, Taha?
Yeah,
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the problem with ChatGPT is if you have a long history of one chat, you're gonna stuck there. But then when you have the voice you really like, are you gonna stuck in that same chat, or for every new post you create a new chat and then you have to train it over with all the prompts again?
That's
I
true.
think
That
that's
is true. So what's happening with ChatGPT now? I'm going to show you another piece. That's a very good one, Tuan. I love this piece where you're going. So no matter how much people like to, so first piece, never be on the negative side of AI. Just telling you this part. The more you hate it, the more you're going to be behind. There's no point in doing that. You see, ChatGPT has now improved. In fact, Gemini and all have improved. So let me show you this piece over here. Now it's 5.2. Basically, last night I saw 5.2. I'm like, does that change the way I do this workshop today? I don't know. But since 5.1, I think, or 5, they're now keeping history. So this one is not trained. This is my account. I have several over here, by the way. Like I do a lot over here. I have a lot of LLMs over here. So model chats over here. So what I do is that write an original post on managers. Let's see what it does. Avoiding feedback because they don't know how to respectfully challenge people. I did not. You see that? No, I would not post this. This is like too long, first of all. Like, so I would now not tweak it. This is too long. This is going on. Okay, too long. Right. So one of the ways I do it, I have a swipe file, my own. And I can tell you that I have several cases where I where it doesn't work for me, meaning what you're saying, it basically finishes up. So you train again and you keep getting better at it. You keep getting to the point faster. You realize, oh, each time I do this, I don't calibrate, then I calibrate later on. So I calibrate. So I want you to take this not like, okay, I have some tool which I take out only when I need it. I want you to play around with it. I'll again mention over here Stephen King, so you get an idea about this practice piece. Stephen King says when he was talking about how do you learn writing and all, he said, my son, when he was 8 years old, he wanted to be, my wife and I decided to put him to saxophone classes, and he was learning them. But then after months, we noticed that the device only comes out, the instrument only comes out when he goes for his practice. But throughout the week, it's in the cupboard. And so we both decided to pull him out of those classes, and he was happy as well. So if you are doing this because, let's write a post. No, it's not fun. So you want to think about something else. What you're writing, think like the next version of you. You're thinking about mentoring people. You're thinking about coaching people. You're thinking about sharing your knowledge. What you have learned, you want somebody else to benefit from that. As a side result, you will benefit. But if you focus on your benefit, it's like happiness. The more you chase happiness, it won't come to you. You do things which give you happiness. So I want you to think about when you're writing online anything, there is a version of you, maybe your brother. I think about my children. Like I'm writing this, dear son, then I would write it down. I'm giving advice. This is my own children. So you want to have an aim that's more intentional, more genuine. The result will come from here. Let's talk about go back to this piece over here. Okay. Because we have 20 more slides to go, but not more workshop to do. We are done with the workshop. We have the exercise. I think you should do it later on. I talked about, you can also mention it, discuss other things in ownership because we have that in there. You can also change the way your personality is. Like I wrote that down, EM who's doing these pieces, right? You can also write down a female Flutter developer from this. So I also write about female empowerment at work, maybe, right? You want to be careful about those things, by the way, even female or male part, because it can create, it's unnecessary to attract such. So stay out of those topics, and that's our exactly next area. First of all, what to write about. Think interview and leveling. When you go to the interview, what questions are they asking you? What are they trying to assess? Right? And at your level as well. I'll give some examples today. So technically, you can talk about APIs, performance, patterns. You can talk about those. Right? Process, estimation, requirements, code reviews. And then behavior, you can just go to Amazon Principles and see, and I'm going to give you an example as to how to write about them. One thing, so one person is Prasanna, like I mentioned before. Prasanna is an engineer at Cloudflare, a mid-level engineer. This is as of yesterday, when I was taking, she has 1,200 followers now. I think it was less than 500 or so before, a month ago. This is one example. She's showing experience over expertise. Expertise is that, hey, this is what this is. This is like what she's showing over here is something you can live. If your database schema looks like a front-end state, you've already lost it. This is very common, right? People who don't know backend and front end separately, they see, oh, the form needs name, this and this. I'm going to take this form and put it as a backend table. That's it. So now it's one-to-one mapping exactly. But that's not how database schemas work. They're more complicated. The names has to be different, their API constellation, right? So then she's talking about why that's a problem as well, because data is older than features. It needs its own language, its own rhythm. You can rebuild APIs weekly. You can rebuild data integrity without bleeding history. Structures data like it to outlive you because it probably will. See, she's not selling anything. She's just sharing a distinction between a very key point about database schemas that tie into backend and frontend. Now, you might be thinking, yeah, but as a hiring manager, as an engineer who's following, you would find these insights useful. She got 86 likes on that with just that following. Umang, you and I both know how much is that, right? Like my yesterday's post got me only 46 likes. Just saying. Right? Okay, let's look at the next one. This one shows growth through levels. Like you want to also see, you understand leveling. You have been through that. Now, instead of saying juniors do, she's talking about that. You can tell the maturity of a team by its code reviews. It's also a very nice hook. I'm expecting something about maturity of a team, right? Juniors chase formatting, mids chase correctness, which is her. Seniors chase intent. The goal isn't to make code pretty, it is to make decisions obvious. Every PR is a documentation for the future. Review like history depends on it. Imagine the ending. Wow, that's a mic drop ending, right? Review like history depends on it. I can tell you, she just exactly what I showed you. She did that part. What she did was she found this voice that she likes, tuned it, gave it different structures and challenge, and keeps on picking. Let's look at the next one. So look at the structures. The structure so far matches a little bit, right? But over here, you see there's a thing going on about going through leveling, describing a journey, juniors, mid, seniors. So as a hiring manager, you can see the person actually, like I can see Prasanna going through these as he's talking about them. Right. Let's go to the next one. You want to also be vulnerable. In the interviews, they're going to ask you where conflicts, where did it happen? What did you do wrong? Right. And people don't talk about that. Look at this. Most of the bugs I ship don't come from complex logic. She's admitting that I ship bugs. They come from tiny decisions I rush through. People talk about complex logic. She's saying decisions I rush through. I slow down more now. It saves days later. So it shows the lessons learned and my new behavior in just 4 lines. Right? So the formatting is pretty awesome, by the way. I mean, if I were to think about a influencer, you are writing this down, and this is called staircase. You're basically showing the post is getting to a conclusion. So mentally, the user is easily following a staircase format like this. Let me see the Siddharth. Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, Taha, I just saw her post and found that you are
Yes.
interacting with almost all of her posts. So, to whom I should give the credit? The ChatGPT suggested post, or because of you interacting with her post?
You can also see there's some posts that I interacted and she did not get those views. They tagged. So first
Mhm.
piece is that we'll talk about this piece as to how to get boost. So what I'm doing, I'm boosting it. But if you write something which is not valuable, no matter how much I go and post and comment on it, you're not going to get a boost. I can just tell you this part. Umang and I, we both comment on each other here and there. Umang can also tell that no matter how much I come and I comment, sometimes he would not get. Or in fact, other people also come on it, not just me. He also gets bigger people who comment on him. Umang, can you talk about that?
It is not at all a given. It said, as I said, this post has to resonate with somebody, then it will go up. The tagging maybe will give you a few more views, but not significant boost if the content doesn't connect.
So
Yeah, thanks, Taha.
So you're gonna do your part, and your part is going to be, and a lot of people do this part. I see all the time. They'll write bad content and I get messages all the time. Can you boost on this? Can you boost on that? Can you come and click? I don't have time. I don't. And so chasing people to come and like your content and stuff, it won't work. Once you start posting like this, somebody would come, like me or somebody else, they would find something interesting, because like what she's writing here as well, by the way, I want my audience to also learn her mindset. I'm coaching people through this, right? So when she comes and I click on it, I have other clients, I'm not sharing. They not everybody gets. The reason I'm sharing Prasanna is because she's very focused on, as she's learning from my coaching, she's applying them every day. So as a mid-level towards senior, if you look at it, she's taking more ownership, like about complex logic and all. So as she's went through that part, she would go home and today's reflection is, I learned this today, I learned this today. And then she would give it to ChatGPT and they would give it a post, and then she would refine that. Half an hour every day, you can do that part. Reflection, you gotta do it. It also grows you. Writing grows you like this. So you're not literally writing, but you have thoughts. And then you give it, you're reading that, and you are picking what you do. So in a way, you're writing. You're picking, you have a writing hand, like a assistant who's writing for you without giving much instruction, but you are picking this and that. Think about Elon Musk, right? He's not doing all the engineering and stuff, but he's giving instructions, and he has hired people who are expert in doing that part. He's able to pick outputs. All right. Another example, learning from others. This is all about showing in behavioral patterns, right? The more time I spend working with seniors, the more I notice a pattern. Again, a hook. And the hook is very clear. I'm learning something. It's very specific. I'm learning something from seniors, from others. They remove assumptions quickly. They don't wait for clarity to appear. They ask the question that feels uncomfortable, unlocks the work. It's not experience, it's discipline. I bet over here she used James Clear because she's talking about discipline. Maybe she did, maybe she did not. But when you see these words, I can now catch, oh, it's habits, it's that. Let's look at this last one. It's very clear. Have a backbone. This is Amazon principle. Have a backbone. It's all about ownership, by the way. Everything is ownership. PM, is this clear? Me, parts of it. Which parts? The ones I can explain back to you. If I can't explain the requirement, I don't start coding. This rule saved me from building the wrong thing more times than I can count. I was surprised to use an emoji, which was very good because this actually works over here. Using emojis has to be really specific. If you use it like 1, 2, 3 emojis, it's just, I show you, it distracts people. It also shows you're not serious. The content is not serious. But once dropping it like that means that this one is so important that you used it. It also points at something like this. So I like the way she did it. It's also a different format if you look at it. There's a dialogue happening, right? Instead of saying, I can't explain the requirement, I don't start. She can start with this, but she makes you walk through this. Is this clear? The PM, there's a conflict happening, right? PMs and engineers, typically it happens. Is this clear? Parts of it. Which parts, right? So over here, there is a tension until the which parts part. Okay, let's see. The next one is things to avoid. Before I go into this, I'm going to look at the chat again. We are going to go over maybe 10 minutes, okay? Okay, where are we? Yes. So what's happening is that when you write shorter post, like she's writing shorter posts and all, people don't know you yet. So, and when they click see more or something, if it's too long, I'm going to pass by. Right? I don't want to read. I don't know who you are. But if somebody, for example, Obama wrote something long, right? Hey, want to see what Obama wrote this long? It changes. So until you develop that, start with small ones. Like the persona, the one very small, they're bite-sized one, very simple to grasp. That's right. Good marketing cannot save a back product. That's true. Windows Vista was not saved at all. Apple Maps was not saved at all. Like you have to build the right product. That's true. You're right. So when you start writing long, so if you see Personas post has examples actually. Let me show you the example over here. Well, by the way, this is an example with PMN. So it's a very short example. It's also a story, a very short form story. This one is not an example, but what she's doing is that she's saying an example. She's saying, the more time I spend working with seniors, the more I notice a pattern. So she's saying a pattern, she's saying, and she's giving some examples, but they're not concrete examples. You're right about that part. This is also an example in a way, but it's not a story. Like this happened today. Like this PM story is a story. And so you can choose to write that part, but then that means it's too long. So you can maybe once in a while, you can write a long one as a story. I will show you how to write a story, by the way, next weekend. Well, let's see if people are going to be available. If not next weekend, then in January. But I want to follow up on this next weekend and then share with you how to share a person's story in a form. It's a different way of going about it. Things to avoid. And important. This is some guy named Taha Hussain. He writes sometimes negative language. Most teams look healthy in stand-ups. Their sickness shows up when production is burning. Now, if you write like this, for example, there's sickness over here. It's a negative word. We don't want to use negative word. Okay, so don't use negative word. I use it because I want to be unemployable. There is no new insight, by the way. Tell me, what did you learn from this? Nothing. Start messy, start imperfect, start not ready, just start. Okay, thank you. You will get likes on this, but this will not get you interviews. Nothing. Avoid writing like this because every time you post, think about you're applying to jobs. Every time you do one post, you're sending out a lottery ticket. This is not a lottery. You've wasted your ticket right now. Don't post like this. Influencers are doing this. You are not supposed to do. Don't do this, please. Here's another one. I follow Gilad. His journey has been amazing. So I watch how my peers are also writing, and I just like I mentioned my areas over here. I look at what they're doing. Uh, s- your realistic interview process is worse than lead code. Number one part, this is negative, and he is also not a he's also a coach right now, so he can write these things like that. However, if you notice this, he's exposing over here. I know controversial. This if you have to write, I know it's controversial. You're trying to attract attention by literally saying it, like, "Hey, trust me," kind of stuff. Let me give you what it means. For example, where is it? If your database schema looks like a front-end state, you've already lost. In her niche, mid-level engineers that she's representing and writing like them, this represents a controversial topic, perhaps. That's what. So this is more authentic versus saying I'm going to talk about data schema and front end, which is going to be controversial. No, right? So make sure when you are taking somebody's post like that, you are looking at the voice that is not using these negative terms, because it will bleed, it will come into ChatGPT, you won't even know, but the language will be negative. Let's go towards this one. Clickbaity hooks. Most people don't talk about this at work, but I've come across it and it never feels good. It could be anything. Do you know what topic this is? No, nobody knows, right? So worst thing happens that you can do to your audience is that you blindfold them and say, trust me, I'm going to take you somewhere. And then you open the blindfold and they're in your bathroom. Imagine that, right? You don't want that. So let's see the compare hook over here. Is this clear? Parts of it. Which part? Is this controversial? It is going towards without saying it, it is going, we feel like some controversy is about to happen, right? So lead in like this versus like the way like clickbaity thing, or it's controversial like that. Don't do those pieces over here. Okay, so the next one is that 7 rules to boost your choices. You can write some chat so far messages, so I can take a look. That's the whole point. If you keep things, so how to bring technical gaps in domain in LinkedIn to, that's a big challenge, man. That's a huge challenge. So what's going to happen is that as you write those points I typically write my posts in a raw form full now. I don't use like what I'm telling you about this and this. I don't write like that because that does not get me clients. I charge $12,000 for my coaching, landing roles and stuff, and my courses and all. If people were to spend money on that, they want actual insights from me versus just ChatGPT thinking, hey, write like yourself. Those things are good to demonstrate in the interviews. So I write my entire post, then I would give it to the voice and I start shaping it together. And what happens over there, sometimes I would like last time I wrote 4,000 words of newsletter and I used ChatGPT to trim it to 1,500 words. So people can read that. So you will have a draft one. Now, if you want to go to writing an entire post, do it. I mean, I'm not saying don't do that part. I'm just saying how to get started with this one prompt. Like saying, like, there is an issue right about this. You can write an entire story and give it to ChatGPT, and that voice you pick is going to be important. And then once that voice spits out things, you have to do the selection. Basically, you are working on behalf of the reader. Do I want to serve this? And I want you to remember this one rule. This is from a movie called Ratatouille. The guy is too slim, the reviewer, the harsh critic. And he looks at him and he says, you are too slim, you are too thin to be a food critic. And he says, if I don't like food, I love food. And if I don't love it, I don't swallow. I want you to the same piece because you can generate 10 posts just like that, right? Shape them. So practice like this. Okay. Rule number 1, you must love your own post as soon as possible. This is the most important rule. I make sure, even if I'm sleeping, I'll keep an alarm on that day and I have my post scheduled. I would wake up, I would take it, I would love it, and I would go back to bed. That's my thing. If you see on my weekend ones that I'm doing a live session over here, even Sunday, I'm sleeping in. But I would wake up, love, sleep again. This does a lot of stuff when you love your own posts. First of all, if you have a following, like Persona has 20 people, they will get double. It boosts the chances of them seeing it. So LinkedIn by default will show your post to 10% of your own audience. I have 84,000 people, but it will not show to all 84,000. It will, let's just say 8,000 people. But that's also not true all the time. Basically, it will go up to 10%. Like yesterday's post, it still got only 4,000 views, right? So the quality of it, who's watching, etc. And what this helps in also spreading. So the remaining people are new within their network, another network. So you have chances of more followers coming in. So when you love your own post, it boosts the post for your own audience as well, meaning within them you get um, a huge boost. This is the number one boost. Clustered lines must not wrap. Formatting is the biggest turnoff for people. Like this is the message that I wrote yesterday. You soften the message the way down so people don't panic. You polish. So these things are you behaviors. They should go together. So I put a cluster over there. But if you see, once it got posted and I saw it, I immediately checked for the formatting because even though I have a tool called Taplio, it's buggy as hell. When it goes on posting, now it's out. So my post, people as they're looking at it, it looks like you're having some good food and suddenly you get bones and stuff in your mouth. So it feels like that. So if that's the case, you try to reduce it. If you can reduce it, then separate them, put a spacer row. It's much better to put a spacer row. Okay. Next one. Your hook is the most important piece. Make sure it's visible. So top 3 rows on your LinkedIn post, not top 2 lines. I want to repeat this part, top 3 rows. So if you look over here, this is one row, this is second row, which is empty, and the third row over here. So if your hook is part of 2 sentences, make sure both are visible. There is a part of leadership nobody puts in the job description. This is like the clickbaity hook now. I'm not telling what it is, right? So I saw this, and what I did was I removed the job. I said, hey, I can go without the job, right? Or I can put JD as well, but I thought I can just move the job over there. And now you become the shock absorber. Now, if they want to read this part, they can continue. What does the shock absorber part mean? So remember, hook is 3 lines. If you notice over here, did I show? Okay, here. Persona. Is this clear? Parts of it. Which parts? See, she used all 3. Because which parts is where the hook is. Oh, which parts? Like now I'm hooked. Okay, what is it? I'll bite. Okay, let's go back over here. Always optimize for mobile. Always optimize. I cannot say this enough. Always optimize for mobile. So desktop version actually looked fine when I had it like this. So, but I would open up my cell phone always to check the post, the formatting, and doing the first love. This is when you're doing the first love. That's when LinkedIn does not penalize you for editing your own post. If you go to any of my posts, they all are edited. Everyone. In fact, in the beginning, I used to be so obsessed. I would post it, and throughout the day, I would keep on editing it. I was I was still like, no, I can do it better. No, I can do it better like that. I kept doing that part. So desktop looks like this, or mobile looks like this part. So we don't want. So in this case, then we would put spacer. We would sacrifice desktop for mobile always. Any questions so far? Let me see. Okay. Okay. Huge. This is where I also learned about my selling. A lot of people who are interested in you, about 98% of them, even though they want to talk to you, they want to hire you and stuff, just like us, they hesitate. In fact, if you write online, like this, like the way Persona is writing, for example, somebody might develop that mesmerizing, advice kind of a personality, right? So now they are viewing your profile, they're interested in you, but they're hesitating. This is where someone viewed your profile, right? Goes from a joke to actual weapon for you. So this is what I send. I have many people who come to my profile. Let me see how much I have today. Well, a lot of people basically comment, I have 19,000 1,000 views, profile viewers right now. So where are we? So what I do is that I use a specific tool, I extract their names, it's automated, and this message goes as automation. Then if somebody responds, and typically somebody would say, like a big guy would say, yeah, Taha, I'm looking for a new role. I'm thinking, of coaching right now. Then I would begin my sales part over there like that. And somebody would say, no, I was watching a profile. Microsoft really works for me. I also worked over there. Thank you for posting what you're doing. Some people will actually send me, yeah, I did not like what you posted yesterday. That's fine. We appreciate them. Thank you so much for your feedback like that. You move on. But this is going to get you land your role. So anyone, just message them very simply. You can copy paste this message, by the way. I'm not kidding. Right? Saw you checked out my profile. I hope you like it. Just out of curiosity. So you're not saying you want to hire me or not. You're just opening up to them to see if they have something that they want to tell you, that why they were interested. Same thing goes with connection requests. If somebody sends you a connection request, similar message out of curiosity, something about my post or profile. And this guy said, yes, the recent post resonated. More importantly, they sound human and practical like this. So you'll see more and more people giving you feedback as well as to if you're doing well or not. So it really works well, if you start messaging people who are visiting a profile or connecting with you. There are some questions before go. Where is the question? Alejandro, see that? That's right. You messaged me. Agni sent me a message about his work as well. Once you develop the relationship, you'll start building a network like this over here. Yes. Oh, so if you're not using LinkedIn Premium, you absolutely must use LinkedIn Premium. Absolutely. So ChatGPT. So now think about your tooling has changed, and we are used to our companies buying IDs for us. Let's spend some money on us. So once again, I have salespeople reaching out to me. Exactly. So I'm also a salesperson, right? Basically, I copied this message from a sales guy who reached out to me, and I was like, that's an interesting message. I like that part. That's not like it's very nice. So I took that and I've been using that. I actually have his full sequence too. After that, then I say, oh, I have a 15-minute discovery call available. I also copied from him. Right? Um, being a good engineer is about copy pasting intelligently. All right. Investment. I want you to think about yourself as your own child. You are investing in your future. You're investing in your skills. $20 for ChatGPT and LinkedIn, whatever that monthly is worth it. Right? If you're a friend at LinkedIn, they can give you 6 months of LinkedIn premium membership for free. See if you can find somebody who can give you that. I had a client who was giving me, I said, no, I already have it. So there's no point. Okay. Number 6, engagement boost your post. Like I talked about, where I go and engage, it does. So you may get a chance, but if the post is shitty, there's nothing going to work. What you don't want to do, you don't want to message people, hey, can you click on this one? No, don't do that part. What you can do is you can go find some influencers who do come and comment on people's posts. You can also, what you do, you can go and comment on their posts. So what happens is when you go and comment on people's posts, other people get to see your name. So when Persona goes, it shows Persona's name like this. For example, Software Engineer Cloudflare. Imagine that's a brand, whatever that is. You could be just backend engineer. You could be just anybody. The other thing I'm going to tell people very clearly, even if you're looking for a job, do not put open to work. Please don't put open to work. I'm telling you, it does not work. So when you are posting, so when you go and comment on people, so what happens is that LinkedIn creates something called a snowball effect. So your post is about to go live. Let's say my post goes live these days on 8:47. So what's going to happen is that on days that I'm up and not sleeping, I am going to, at 8:30, I'm going to start commenting on other people's posts. Right? So let's say Umang is here. I'll see Umang's post in my feed and comment on it. I'll comment on some other people. I will also comment on my yesterday's post because people have put some comments. So what's happening is that I'm just like, I'm warming up LinkedIn. I'm pre-warming it for my activity about to come. So now LinkedIn is warming up, right? Typically like 6 to 8 comments works well. right? So you can go beyond that too, but do six, 5 or 6 at least. Then when your post goes live, go love on it. Your post already has a boost attached to it because you have already been interacting in LinkedIn today, like 15 minutes ago. Reply. Your first hour is perhaps the most important hour you can have. Your first hour determines how your post will fly. And so you want to make sure you're engaging on your comments. You number one, love your post immediately. Like all of that is very important. So immediately love, you get a boost as well. Then other people in the network start seeing it. They come and comment on it. Immediately comment. If you see somebody is not commenting, it's okay to use your friends and family. I used my wife's account a lot in the beginning. I still use it sometimes. I would repost from it. I'm not kidding. She's a lawyer. I'm not kidding. Somebody messaged me saying, "This Nazia Heather, she's your biggest fan." I'm like, "I'm sorry, that's my wife, and I do it myself." You post all your I said, "Yeah, I do it." I just need someone to do the boost. Um, I would also, if some post is too controversial, I would ask a friend to comment on it. I would also give the comment, "Hey, can you comment this?" So it breaks the ice of people. Hey, somebody's commenting on something. Right? If you comment yourself, it doesn't do that well. It doesn't. But if somebody comments to break the ice, that works well as well. So you can use that. Use those friends and family for this purpose. Absolutely. Bug them. I did a lot. Build partnerships. This is also important. So as you go and comment here and there, maybe you guys want to build partners among each other. This is where you're supporting each other, right? That's going to help you a lot. This is real networking in practice. Many people that I have worked with, they grew because their circle was doing this. There is one last one. Post between 7:30 a.m. and 9 a.m. your time zone. Okay, so if you're in India, post between that time. Why? Because people then get busy with work, life responsibilities, all of that, and then by the day ends, things are happening. So what happens is that in the morning, people find time in bathroom to read stuff, or as they are sitting in Uber or something else. This is the time when they're reading stuff. So you want to write at that, you want to post at that time, but you want to pick one time. It's again very important. If you are posting at 8:30 tomorrow at 8:40, no, that's not going to work. Why is that not going to work? Well, how would you scale a social media platform which has millions of posts happening every day? I would put slots over there. And in those slots, if I were to give you a boost, I would put your boost in that slot. If social media learns that Umang typically posts at 8:30, I'm gonna keep Umang I'm expecting Umang at 8:30. I'm gonna line up I'm gonna create feeds for his followers as they log in. Umang's feed is gonna come over there. But if Umang is not there, I will note Umang is not good for my feed. He's inconsistent or he's flaky. So now your boost is gone. Pick one time, do it. If you change that time, don't change it like weekly. Like I was first doing 8:30, now 8:47, 47. Now I'm going to change that again. I'm going to think about next year something else. I'm keep on experimenting. But these 7 at 9 a.m. is going to work a lot. I also post at night. I post twice a day. So my posting time is also 12 hours. So if you also want to post twice a day, go forward for it. I would say too much posting when you're looking for an interview is not going to work. You only want to post once. This is where we finish, and we can do a Q&A. Before that, I'll just do the chat thing. Where are we? Okay. This works for everyone. This works for everyone. Doesn't have to be a salespeople as well. You can be. I'll tell you another piece. I have been helping. So now what I do is that I'm going to stop sharing now, and I'm going to go to okay. So what I do now is I'm also building a business of helping people build their business online. As an example, I have a person who is a Stanford trained doctor. in the Bay Area, and he wants to be a performance coach, longevity performance. He's all about that. The guy does hit workout, all of that. Like he's my age, and if you look at it, the guy looks 10 years younger, honestly. Same background, demographics. So I was coaching him the same method as to how to write online and how to sell and stuff. I have a message from him, and you see, I'm going to use that. This is an amazing message that everyone should think about, because same, nothing different, boss, nothing different. Whatever you guys are doing, exactly the same thing. I'll show it like this. Why not? So that's his chat that I just took out for you. So he signed up his first customer last week. And it's an amazing feeling. And he's giving his first month's revenue. I afterwards said he doesn't need to, but he's still doing it. I love that part, because giving somebody your first revenue that you made is a big deal. Like, it's an honor to have. And I think I was overwhelmed by that. But that's amazing piece. So, you think about how you're helping people who are learning from you, and this works for everyone. Okay. But to start one post, no, you can just start posting every day, because you have ChatGPT. Sit today for half an hour. You can have some post. Again, sit the same day. I would spend more time right now, like 3 to 4 hours, as if you just found something and you're gonna just play around with it, right? Like you found a new gadget. Like, I got my son his new PC. He's not out his room. He's in his room. He's just like games, trying this out, trying that out, trying to break, overriding something. Right. So you have a new toy. Play with it. Right. Break some rules today. Play with it. Yeah, this weekend. I want you to post all 5 days next week, and come again on Saturday, because we'll take this forward. This does, but we are going to show you how to write the Golem effect, because that's a long form nurturing, or a part of Golem effect, but in your post like a story, like it looks like a story. I can tell that this would be your stories. Okay, I'm currently working as a SDE, as become EM, and good post twice a week. You know what? Yes, this would be. But what you want to talk about is more about technical lead. So if you're an engineer, you won't just go over there. You want to see a technical lead aspects coming into you, because you cannot talk about you're doing one-on-ones to find their career trajectory or where they're blocked like that. A technical lead does the same thing, but in a different way. You are doing code reviews. Within that, you're mentoring somebody. Manager should not do that part. Right? So different way. So what's happening is that, I don't know if you know cricket and all, but once you start playing a little bit, people can tell if I can take you into the main game or not. So you're starting doing a technical lead. So I want you to post. So I want you to give ChatGPT instruction. I'm a software engineer who wants UI and who wants to demonstrate skills of a technical lead that can lead towards a management role. Give it make ChatGPT your insider friend. Understand? That's your friend. I will never give you my ChatGPT login. I can just tell you this part. It knows it knows too much about me.
I second that, Taha. ChatGPT helps a lot with posting.
Awesome.
Taha, just I want to add one thing here. That is, in my ChatGPT, I have also tried it to train as my career coach also. And the thing is, as it already know, a lot of times he already mentioned me that is, I know that you are a senior front-end engineer and aspiring for an engineering manager, and this is the personalized recommendation for you. So
Yeah.
I think I can also personalize all of the contents in that way also, right?
Yeah. You can create the content. You can also give. So the thing that I was doing, last week was I was also thinking, we do a lot of stuff in these Q&As, by the way. I mean, I'm glad you guys are here, but what we discussed last time, we discussed about behavioral interviews. We discussed about other pieces as well. And so I was also thinking about growing our presence over here. We have hundreds of people who have signed up for this course, but people are not joining. So one way I was thinking is I can take the transcript, which is in Zoom, and I gave it to ChatGPT and say, hey, give me some, how can I write a newsletter about like 2,000 words? It gave me like in 5 minutes, I had like 3 versions. I like none of them because I have to still shape them. Those are like random stories coming together like that. But that could be an insight. I can just take that and that's my content. Imagine that. That's my content. That becomes your content too. What you learned over here, you are free to tell people. You can go and say, hey, I learned about when you are, doing a code review. Let's say I'll give one information today which you can think about. For example, I would talk about this in this session. Like this week, I was coaching an EM from Amazon for behavioral interviews. So one trick that I do is that people typically won't come to you to change their skills or learn their skills. They want to clear the interviews. And at that moment, I make them reflect. Then I teach them new skills. So I asked this question: how do you build your teams? Like, what do you think about building your teams? And he said he's an L6 manager, like a line manager. So which he said, well, I look at the requirements. I know what kind of skill set I need. I create a job description based on that. I was like, and then budget, and then look at the backlog. Like, that's boring answer. And that's, if you do that part, there's no experience. Anyone can answer that, which typically all managers do. I said, this is how you build a team. This is how you answer this question. I will take a look at the requirements and what the technical aspects are required. Those are given. See, I answered that part in just less than 15 seconds. What I focus on is I've realized that within a team, there are people who like to start new things. They get excited about it. They'll come up with ideas. They'll put down presentations. They'll convince people. We have all seen that part. I like, because they find areas which are problematic. Leveling also doesn't matter. I've seen happen at junior as well as principal. They just like to find problems and propose ideas. They like to start projects. However, once they're done with the prototype, they lose interest. They again go towards a next shiny thing. I used to give feedback to such people to finish all the way, but I realized that their passion is starting new things. Then I realized that there's a different group of people who don't want to do this. They just want to be told, here's the idea, here's the backlog. I want you to design this and build this all the way. They like to build things all the way. They get passion in that. And if you move them from that within that, they don't like it. So instead of forcing people to act the same way, I start treating my teams as openers and closers. So I balance them out. My team has engineers, back and front end, but I also look at in my team format as to which people are like to create new ideas, which like to that. And then I work with them accordingly in their careers, in my project execution, etc. Makes things much simpler to see how people are working. One challenge that comes with this process is how do I evaluate them together at the same level when it comes to calibration? Then you can go deeper into that part as to how you do it. So you see, it's an insight. You learn today. Now you can go and apply it to work. You can see how would I look at my own work, and then think about how do I. Now there are different ways you can form a team. I just gave one example to you over here: opener and closers. There are more nuances over there, but it's not your typical generic answer. It also shows some experience. Just this answer will give some experience. Any manager who's on the other side can relate to this piece. Right? Now you learn about this. You can think about how would you apply this in your own team, then write a story, which you will learn next weekend. Okay, more questions. Okay, first of all, was this useful? Was I fast? Did I not cover some areas? Were there some gaps that you still think about?
Yeah, it was it was very, very useful. I'm just looking at one of the message from Justin, which really resonated with me because I'm at the same juncture in my career. So what about any focus on engineering managers who want to be engineer, who want to transition into more challenging engineering manager roles, directors, so on and so forth?
So you want to say this. So again, I will not, I can answer all of those questions. What happens that scenarios, you give this to ChatGPT in that persona. Persona is important. And I want you to play with it. See, I gave you minimal information about persona right now. My persona, I'm just going to give you a peek at it. Just so you get an idea.
Understood. Thanks.
Oh, don't do this. I hate it when Google typically asks you to sign in at the wrong moment. But let me just do that part quickly. I'm going to show you my persona that I have. This is my persona. It starts from here. It goes all the way. Then I have a swipe file over here, trading. I have trading 2.0, I have trading 2.1. I have many instructions over here. This is like a very long document that I have. So, and there are personas in it. For example, I used to write to attract engineers. So different voices. I don't want you to go over there. It's too complicated. You want to have one voice and just give your own persona what you're looking forward to. But what I'm trying to tell you is that persona engineering is very simple. It's just giving instructions to ChatGPT. Hey, this is who I am, and believe the magic will happen. It is magic, right? Now, what again it's going to happen is the quality of your thoughts. Like I just talked about opener and closer, for example, right? That will come into it. You can listen to books every day, reflect upon. So one way I tell people is how you consume knowledge and how you share this is that when you're reading a book, this is by Jim Quick, the brain expert. Ask a question, why do I believe this is true? So your brain is open to learning new things. Then you ask a question about when will I use it? So you have a use case in mind when you're listening to it. Like I mentioned, team management. So maybe some people over here were thinking about, hey, how did I build my team? Right. So now they're listening into it. And then how will I use it? So these three questions, are you listening to a book? Your mind is thinking already behind the scenes. When you come home after 1 or 2 hours, maybe you listen to 1 hour of book. You learn something in that. Right? Maybe opening and closer came up. So then you start writing about, oh, my team was doing that part, but I didn't do this well, but I could do this now. And then give it to ChatGPT and then start forming that. So this is how you're going to have a content which is highly valuable, and you'll also learn and apply this. Let's go to Shreya.
Hey, thank you. This is Ashish, I think. Like Zoom has mixed up my last name and first name. But I wanted to check, like someone who is not active on LinkedIn and start posting these posts suddenly. The first question in this market, people will think like, hey, he's looking for a job. Even if I'm looking for a job, how do I not let them think about this?
So number one part, you can't control people think.
Mhm.
People who are thinking many things. You do your thing, man. You show up on LinkedIn, you start writing. That's all you gotta do.
Okay. Thank you.
Lawrence, to your question is, yes, you can accept all the connections. If they are from people not in your niche, for example, if they are marketing people, if they are like business people, sales people, no need to accept them. If they're recruiters, engineers, hiring managers, take a look at that part. You can accept everyone you want to. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just that here's what's going to happen. Yeah, I told you about a 10% rule of LinkedIn. So if you have an audience in which there is one engineer and let's say 1,000 people, one engineer, one hiring manager, and 998 people who are sales and marketing, your posts are only going to sales and marketing people. So,
Okay.
right. So that's important piece to understand. I also, when I partner with people on LinkedIn so that I can boost them and they can boost my business because they have lots of followers, I have lots of followers. I don't go to everyone because they are bringing junk into me. Like I want people who are learners. There are many people who are just hoarders. Like the information I gave today, there is science says that a lot of us in this session, even though we're excited, will end up not practicing. They're just hoarding information. We won't do anything. We'll feel really good about this session. We learned something, but we won't take an action. This is why I'm not giving you too many prompts. I just showed you this is possible. It's very easy. I did the same thing with Prasanna, another of my clients. It takes you to start sitting down and practicing. So when you have people coming in from different, like who are engineers, like for me, for example, but they are not the ones who are actually buying. I know exactly how to find that content. For example, Jordan Cutler is an amazing influencer. He writes about what he learns, what he's doing.
Yeah.
So his crowd is solid. Whenever he mentions
Yeah.
me as his coach and stuff, I get lots of sales. Because people over there are serious about
Okay.
buying. They're serious about our growth. So you also want to not just accept people randomly like that part, or you want to partner with people who are not selling, oh, DSA course here, DSA course there, right? No, no, no. You want to be very specific about like finding people like Jordan Cutler, for example. There is John Cricket who also posts really good about coding challenges. You want to follow, you want to also go and enter. You also want to go and comment on Ethan Evans. So here's another part. Oh, I didn't teach this part. Maybe I should have put places over here. Where to go exactly? Think about it. You are a person who wants to feed, I don't know, who wants a certain audience. So you want to go to a place where the audience shows up. So hiring managers, who are they following? Executives.
Mm.
So you want to go and comment on Ethan Evans' post. So your name will show up over there, along with your software engineer, whatever, or EM, whatever title you have at where, and your opinion will show up over here. Right? So anyone who's reading that post, Ethan is not going to do anything. But what's going to happen is that people who are commenting here and there, they're looking at your comment.
Mm.
They're seeing your opinion about it. And that's where the crowd is coming. Now imagine you go and comment on Richard Moore, sales guy. What's going to happen? Nobody cares.
Yeah,
Because
nothing.
you're salespeople. But if you comment on that, then people will show up. So find that crowd. My crowd. You come and comment on mine, the people who are coming up, who are also commenting and posting and reading this stuff over there.
See. So a quick follow on. Should I like go in and filter people in my LinkedIn? Like, should I filter out the people that are like salespeople, or
Yeah.
you know, should I go through all my connections? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you can if you want to. If you're very few right now, it's easier. I can't do this anymore. But it would be a good exercise if you want to do it. Remove sales and marketing people. I would also recommend not doing that. I mean, it's a double-edged sword. So
Mhm. Right.
maybe you want to see, because what happens that if they like something, then right now you don't have any followers, so you have minimal. If they like something, they read something interesting, then LinkedIn will give you a boost. So one part you can do,
Okay.
you can write the same thing about confidence. Let's say confidence is generic, right? Like I showed you a post about Richard, confidence came up. So you can write a post, even salespeople or engineers can also benefit. So even though your title says software engineers, and they'll be attracted towards that part. If a salesperson in your thing also likes it, or your friend or your relative, they'll also like it. And you need that in the beginning, your current crowd that's connected with you. So as they like it, then as you start growing your crowd, you can write more and more about engineering, and automatically sales and marketing will be like no more new will come, and you can always say no to them.
Okay. It's interesting because I have almost 4,000 followers already, and this is with doing nothing. I don't post. I have like a nice profile, but I don't actually post anything. So I'm wondering, like, maybe I've just like been accepting. I've been accepting pretty much everybody, and I don't know. Maybe I should like trim it down and curate it to get more quality, and then grow it from there again. So I don't know. I'll think about this, but I appreciate that.
Okay, thank you for the question. And so let's see you got me interested, man. So it's also could be everyone's thing to think about. So one thing I like about this is a very good banner. It's very clear forward. It's Rogo. So a lot of people have blank space over here. You want to have something over here, not too busy. So I like this one. Specific, platform engineering at Rogo. So not like, this is not a salad of buzzwords.
Mhm.
Very straightforward, specific platform engineering at Rogo, and then XAWS. So that's where your another brand piece is also coming in. Let's go down over here. So this is a sales funnel. We're gonna talk about that at some point, but not today. But your page is a sales funnel. So as people are coming over here, they get this is banner. Remember it. Very important part: looking straight and your eyes to show up. No, very specific piece over here. A lot of people are looking sideways, or they have the cat with them. Don't do those pieces. You need it's a professional photo. It also doesn't look like you're an executive. If you're wearing a suit over here, right, it would not match your platform engineering. You're also playing a role. Imagine a doctor showing up with suit versus a lab coat. Right? Imagine you watching a toothpaste ad where the model is wearing a suit versus a lab coat. Very different case. So that's also happening over here. And then once they come over here, it's basically technical stuff. You want to change this though. So, oh, yes. So you're platform engineering over here. You may want to be specific over here as to what you are, like staff engineer or something like that. I would not mention platform because then it makes you only tied into that niche and reduces the opportunities. And where they're going with AI, just like I showed you, writers, by the way, spend many years building the voice that Richard Moore is using, or the way I'm using, or the way you guys talk about. So this platform engineering and all is going to be like that too. So you want to be more broad now versus restricted. I've been telling my clients, instead of saying front-end engineering or back-end engineering, say senior software engineer, say software engineer, but not specifically observability engineer or things like it.
Okay. Thank you.
So the other part you can also do, you don't have to put the word consultant. Nobody cares. You can just put over here, DevOps engineer. That's it.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just like kind of putting my official titles here. I don't know.
So that's a mistake people make. Don't put official titles over here. LinkedIn is not your company's or background check record. This is your marketing thing. How you tell yourself who you are. Now, once you submit a resume, that should have official titles over there. 100%. Because that would be used against you, but not your LinkedIn profile. LinkedIn profile is advertising. We all know about advertising. Right. So, but the value must be delivered. So you start with that part, but don't leave it there. Deliver the value. All right. I think
Got it. Thanks.
I think today we are done. This was very good.
If you don't mind, one last
Sure.
question.
Go ahead.
You said that you advise generally not to put open to work. Currently, I
Yes.
am serving the notice period. So
Yeah.
can I, or still you advise not to?
So you should never use. So basically, if I were at LinkedIn and a CEO, I would say, please kill open to work. Like as a CEO, I would kill that feature. It does not do you any good. You're thinking people are searching for saying, let me find people who are open to work. Is that happening? Are you thinking recruiters are looking for that?
Not
They're
yet,
not.
till now, because I never got any.
I'm asking something else. I'm saying, are you thinking if you put open to work, recruiters will actually find you? Basically, recruiters are going to search. I'm looking for people who are open to work. You think recruiters are doing that? They're not doing that part. I'll tell you what they're doing. I want to give me results of people who don't have open to work.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So don't do that part. Instead, write online. See, if somebody's open to work, we have so many choices. People start thinking, why this person doesn't have a job? You may have other reasons why, but people are biased.
Okay.
Right? Now they'll get to know once they start meeting you, because what's happened is that once you start posting and stuff, they're mesmerized by you. Like I didn't have a job for 2 years when I went to Riot Games and other places when I was going. Right. So I still get messages. Like recently I got somebody about, hey, executive research for UPS role is good for you, etc. I said, I don't even respond to them. That basically tells me I'm not writing hard enough. Like why? Like they should not be reaching out to me. They should be saying, we don't want this kind of person or like thing. So I want you to start writing this online. This is going to create massive reputation for you.
Sure. Thank you.
Yeah, you're sharing your wisdom. This is so good. I loved it. If I just very quick thumbs up if you guys want to, but don't do it if you can't, because then it won't be live and I can always do it in January. Do you guys want to do a follow-up on Saturday where we talk about what your experience is and learn about how to write that story format in LinkedIn post? I got only one yes so far. Okay. It would require you to also practice this week and also post, because without that, that's the next level. You won't understand this. It's like algebra and calculus. Right? I still can't understand complex numbers, by the way. My son does, iotas and all. I don't like them. But okay. So awesome. I will make this video available for all of us in Top Tech Leaders. There'll be specific. It won't be like a lesson yet. I don't think it's a lesson yet for me too, but I will put it as a Q&A session as a video. so that you can take a look at it. You already have the link for the Google Drive for the swipe file and the prompts. Take that as starting points. Build your own swipe files. Okay. I would love to know how you guys experimented.
So, quick question. So here, I'm a new joinee. So do all the recordings show up in that in Kajabi, or how, or do you do it selectively?
So far, I have not been uploading the Q&As. And this is the one where we first did a lesson, like this one, like a live lesson workshop, because I'm experimenting how we are going to go into next year. I'm going to give you one more thing as to why. Next year, the Q&A sessions are not included for new people who buy the course. There will be a separate monthly charge for $17. For all of the students who have already enrolled before December 31st, it will be grandfathered for 1 year. So the entire next year is included for you. But after that, you'll have to subscribe. So if you have friends and family, tell them this how you find value. We get more people over here. We learn from them. We build a huge community. My business also benefits. I'm just going to say it up front, right? But I want
Of course.
people, more people over here. I want to build a big community over here. So if you find this valuable, advertise the course over there. I can also give them discounts if they say, I got this from Deepak or somebody else. I have your customers. What else? Yeah, that's it. So this one will be there. It won't be today. I'm going to take a break. It will be tomorrow. I'm going to polish something over here and upload that, and you guys will get an email. Feel free to send any comments, things I could have done differently. I would love that part. Yes, we can do that part right now. I'm still thinking about how to organize that upcoming, next year. So I'm going to hire some help to help me organize these things. So it's more formal. It's more structured. Awesome.
Thank you. Thank you, Taha.
Thank you.
Thank you, Taha.